BooBaes. BooBaes.
Hello.
Caitlin.
And I'm Joshua.
This is
BooBaes.
That's my favorite part. Now that like it's out and we can hear the intro and stuff and listen. When I listen, I do that BooBaes with you in the car.
I love it. It's so good. It's
Mine
so
doesn't sound as good as yours.
and I love it.
Mine, I'm just like, but it's fun. I like to sing along or talk along.
Talk
with that.
along? Yeah. It's the way that hopefully all of our listeners do the same thing.
Yeah, they better say BooBaes.
For real. I want to be like, you hear that, guys? If you see me walking on the street, just literally BooBaes.
No other context.
Nothing
Don't
else.
follow it with anything else.
That's
just
all.
walk past.
That's all I need. My heart will be content.
It'll flutter.
Hi, it's nice to be back with you, Caitlin.
Yes.
I know. Talking about
Halloween 2.
DOS.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't know. The continuation of John Carpenter's first Halloween.
But not directed by John Carpenter.
No.
Just screenplay written.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 scenes directed by him that they
Ooh.
reshot.
Yeah. The beginning, right? Or
I know for sure that when the boombox kid runs into him on the street.
yeah.
Right there, that was a reshot.
And a little fun fact,
is
that
good.
is
I like that.
the guy who plays
Boombox kid?
I was about to say Freddy. Wrong franchise. Michael Myers. No, Dick Warlock, the actual guy who plays the shape in that one.
Uh-huh.
That's his son.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is his son.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fun.
He's just filling in for that little spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, they really, again, just like with the first one, they really, like, I feel like used the budget. No, the budget wasn't as tight with
Yeah.
this one, but, like, there's still so many, like, hey, I know you.
Yeah.
Will you do this for me? Or, like, references to, like, people in Carpenter's life.
Very much that.
It's stuff like that.
Very
which is-
much if you and I were to try to make our own horror movie.
Yeah. Lots of friends stuff involved.
Yeah, literally. Lots of favors.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lots of favors.
We on a budget.
And using like a lot of the same people, like so obviously I don't know, hopefully you've seen this.
I've never watched it. Never seen it.
Never seen it before in my life. I hadn't watched it in years, so I had to rewatch it this morning, otherwise I was gonna be like, what the fuck.
Yeah.
But so it leaves off, or it picks up literally exactly where the other one left
Like
off.
no minute has been.
Yeah.
Like it is.
They even
quite
do a little
literally,
backtracking for
to
you.
continue. It's previously on Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. So that's cool. I feel like a lot of sequels don't do that.
I actually, I
nowadays.
really love that. And it also too,
Forever.
like it literally makes you feel like they literally just shot everything all at once, but they didn't. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, I like that. I really enjoyed how it's a continuation, and it's also, I guess because the director wanted it to be more of like a part 2 of. I mean,
The
it
same
is,
story.
but like the same story just continued.
It is the only one of the Halloween films that shows the day after Halloween. All the other ones end on the 31st.
Yeah,
So that was kind of cool too. That it's
Halloween, but not Halloween.
yeah, it's November 1st.
Literally, could you imagine the sequel?
not as doesn't have as much of a
In
ring
theaters,
to it.
November 1st.
But so anyways, as you know, he's going around and he's got up, walked off from his. Oh, that's right. So
yeah,
okay,
let's open
it
up.
shows he falls off the balcony after getting shot 6 times by Pleasance's character,
Yes.
Loomis, right?
Dr. Loomis. Mhm.
And when it shows him going off the balcony that time, it's like they had a platform lined up with a railing.
Yeah.
Because like you see him stumbling back, and then his feet are just on top of the railing. Like his
Yeah.
feet, it's not like he bent over
Mm-hmm.
and like fell backwards. It was like his feet were already in the air, and he like was just walking back. So I think they think that was probably a little bit of a
glitch in editing
yeah.
or something. Post edit didn't catch that. Yeah, and they reshot those scenes too. So
And then
that
they
might be So they had double the chance to try to get that. But
I was like, oh, well, that's the way that he just like walks off the railing backwards. I was like, okay. But
go Michael.
So he goes and he's going and he goes, steals that butcher knife from homegirl next door. And I'm like, why did all y'all have your doors just open?
Everybody
unlocked?
is having their doors open. That girl too. And I'm just like, and then she just stares at the door open like, oh, that's strange.
After just learning about the murders.
Literally.
Like, I mean, the fucking 70s, 80s were a weird time. People just left their doors unlocked. And that's why so many people were murdered then. Because they left their fucking doors open. Lock your goddamn doors.
I say that, but I literally leave the door open, unlocked a lot of the times.
Oh, not me. That is like the first thing I do.
It's the way that my roommate, Nancy, you know Nancy, she came in one time. She was like, you just want to get murdered. I'm like, you know what? Maybe.
A little bit. Yeah, no, like one time I locked myself out of my house on accident because my doors got one of those click pushes. And I was like, well, glad to know that my house is fucking locked up tight.
There you go.
That could not get anywhere into my house. That was annoying. But
I've definitely done that a few times, lock myself out.
Yeah, it's fun.
I used to, oh God. Oh Lord. Sorry, Mom and Dad. I used to do that all the time at my parents' house when I used to live with them. And I would specifically leave a window open, like in the back of the house, like unlocked, just because I knew like I'm going to do it again.
You're going to need it.
And so I would go through that window all the time. So it's funny because dangerous. I would always be like my neighbors, because the way that their house is set up, you can see everything.
Someone's crawling in your window.
Literally, and you just see my little legs like jumping through.
you're like Lori when she's going through the window in the movie.
Yeah, literally.
But so when he goes next door and homegirl's getting that phone call from her friend being like, "Hey, people just got murdered." That's actually the friend on the phone is actually Annie.
Oh,
it's that same actress. It was her voice that they used, so I thought that was
Nancy
cool.
Loomis is her name.
And they again kind of recycled. They were like, okay, you're going to play a corpse. You can also play this voice on the phone.
Right. They were like, we got you here for the day. You're getting paid. So you're going to actually do some voiceover.
I need your voice too.
Yeah. I'm sure they sold that to her. Yeah. It'll look great on your resume. Voiceover acting. Come on now.
No, I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, cool. And then, she gets dead by.
She gets dead and deader than dead.
Leaving the door open.
She gets stabbed with a knife. Just like right there in the chest. But yeah, so we're continuing on. Apparently, all of the town knows now because it's on the news.
The pacing at the beginning was a little confusing for me because, Oh, sorry, my.
So you have a xenomorph inside of you. Your chest just starts bursting.
Oh, that's my nightmare. So they pick up Lori and they're taking her to the hospital and stuff.
It's a Haddonfield Memorial something hospital,
which is primarily where this film takes place. But so they've got her. I felt like the sheriff was already there and they had already talked about the 3 dead bodies, but like the main sheriff, is Annie's father, and so then they're like still looking. Him and Loomis are looking for Michael. And they're just like walking or driving around and stuff. And then after fucking fake Michael gets exploded, which is actually Ben Tramer.
Yeah. Which is a guy that Lori liked, right?
Man, yeah.
That's the way that
Ben Tramer.
Literally. And it's the fact that he got railed by that car, pinned between the other one, and then
explosion happened
fast. Yeah. Literally. And it's the way that
and
Dr.
Loomis, they were remarkably chill.
Yeah, very chill.
For the fact that they just killed someone.
Literally the wrong guy. And then I'm thinking too, I'm like, was this mask popular? Who else is before Michael even got to it?
His was kind of silver-ish looking. I don't know.
And it had the hair. Yeah. The blonde hair. But yeah, damn, poor Ben.
Yeah,
fucking
poor Ben. Man, he didn't even get to. But Lori moves on kind of fast with fucking creepo Jimmy or whatever.
Jimmy Smitten.
Yeah, he was creepy when he came in when she was unconscious.
I mean,
I was like, ew, dude.
That go against patient code, patient.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure lots of rules were broken in this movie. Sex in hot tubs while you're working. No, all of it.
All of it.
Off limits.
Literally.
But so then after that is when they find out that Annie was one of the people.
Yes.
And the sheriff goes. But maybe it was just, I don't know, because then Jimmy's back, all before that, though, Jimmy was at the hospital, blah, blah, blah. And then, it says they get another call, but then Jimmy's there. And so I was just like, maybe this is all taking place simultaneously.
That's what I got from it.
Yeah.
Is that it's all happening at the same time and we're just seeing it.
It took me a second, though. I was like,
yeah. It's because there's so much happening all in that night, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this movie really starts off, it's just like, pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop.
Well, and
Back,
then when they're taking her to the hospital, when they bring her to the hospital and that kid has a razor in his mouth, like.
And then they just like turn him. They're like, yeah, he'll have to wait. And I'm like, this kid's face is like fucked up.
Literally mutilated.
He was like, bleh. When he pulled the rag away from his face the first time, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're just like, he'll have to wait. And then the nurse like goes over and is looking at Lori and then talking with them. And, you know, she's just like basically doesn't give a fuck that this little kid is bleeding from his mouth. I was like, Jesus.
God. I guess that's the time when people started getting worried about people putting razors in candy. And
I remember, well, that was, I mean, I just remember in early 2000s and stuff too.
It started becoming a thing.
Yeah. Again. Yeah. And I think it was, I feel like it was after 2000. I feel like it was after 9/11, like 2001 and stuff, that I remember like people getting really like concerned about poison, like
a lot of paranoia,
injected
mass hysteria,
candies and stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
Some anthrax in it.
Yeah.
That's not cocaine. It's anthrax. Oh God. But yeah, no. So we're at the hospital. Everybody's, you know, the cops are all the sheriff is like, "It's your fault, Loomis. You let him out."
Yeah.
I'm like,
and Loomis was like,
and I'm like, bitch, what the fuck were you doing? Like, you protecting your city.
He was,
but not.
He was at the hardware store,
exactly,
investigating some ropes and
knives and a mask,
being stolen.
Because you know everybody steals that. You know,
that's my go-to things to steal.
I mean, a murderer? Who? No, come on. Loose on the streets? No.
But
not in Haddonfield.
Not there. Yeah, and it's always with most true crime and stuff too. It's like it was a sleepy town. Or like a quiet night, and it's always a sleepy town or something. And then the blonde cop guy who comes in after
he's like
the
a marshal,
sheriff is
right?
sent away.
A U.S. marshal or something.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. But and then he's like, you know, it's always been real quiet here in Haddonfield. And then Loomis was like, yeah, except for when Michael killed his sister 15 years ago.
Literally,
like this has happened before.
There was precedent.
It's like happened. This wasn't just. No, la-ti-da, like this didn't just happen out of nowhere. Like there's got some history in this town.
What is it? Very ignorance is bliss. Yeah. People like to just, you know, pretend everything's okay.
He did, and he said he was like, it'll be a while before people forget about this. And I'm like, yeah.
I hope so.
Then like, I mean, so the first movie had what? Like 5 kills total?
5 kills. And this one had,
at least
spoiler alert. Guys, actually, yeah, you know, honestly, too, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it.
Yeah.
But 10 kills.
Yeah. And this one is definitely a lot.
It's gorier. It's
a lot more back to back. Yeah.
And the kills are more intense, I'd say, than the first one. I mean, because the first one was kind of like, the kills were almost like you didn't see it too much. You didn't see the actual, you know, but this one, there's more blood. There's more actual like use of like different things.
It's a little more gory.
Yeah. And there's different, I like how he uses different tools. There's like a knife, there's a syringe, there's the freaking
hot
sauna, the hot tub.
Ooh, that scene was brutal. Her titties were great though.
Yeah. That's why we're here. BooBaes.
BooBaes. We're here to rate boobies in horror films now.
She's going to get her own separate rating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll cover that at the end.
5 boobs for her. They were good boobs.
They were honest. You know, that's a whole scene. That whole, we'll get to it. Okay, yeah. So they're at the hospital. All that stuff is happening with the cops. They're still out looking for him. And then Michael hears on was it the radio or boombox TV? He hears that Lori's at the hospital. She was taken to the hospital. So now he's like, okay, that's my next kill. That's where I'm going.
Head to the hospital.
Out.
Yeah, there's a lot of I just enjoyed a lot of the camera work and stuff at the beginning. Well, really throughout the whole film. But I feel like towards the beginning, they pull some similar like one-shot styles too. I don't know. I really liked that whole opening like bit, I guess, before we really get to the hospital.
Where the main event happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then that's where most of the last half of the movie takes place. But
I mean, when the movie does, it's a pretty quick, like the pacing of it.
Oh yeah. It really is.
It moves very fast.
And I forgot to. I went back and I took some notes, but I feel like starting with Mr. Sandman is always creepy.
That's the way that I wrote that in my notes too.
Yeah.
Mr. Sandman.
And then I like how it ends with it too.
Mhm.
So that
Very much so.
that was a nice little bookend.
Well, yeah, it's such a creepy sounding song too.
It is. It's kind of, it's like Tiptoe Through the Tulips and kind of shit.
Very much that. Is that Tiny Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very good. And I love how they chose to, like, they were recapping everything. And then right before the credits, like, opening sequence rolls is, you know, the guy's like, I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight. And then Loomis is like, you don't know what death is.
Literally.
And then dee. And I was like, yeah.
Yes.
That was
like
incredibly well.
It's like perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, well placed. I really enjoyed that. And then I was like, that, you know, set the scene for the movie.
Once again, Dr. Loomis's acting is what's pleasant on Pleasantly.
And you don't really need to, like, I mean, it works. Like, you could watch that one years after the first and still be like, okay, yeah, I kind of know what happened.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So,
I mean,
nice.
Halloween is so iconic in itself. That first one. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. And I love, actually, because I love between the two of them, Halloween 1 is so, like, slow paced. And then this one is just
very
like, we're going to just
wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Lots of pop, 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 pop.
go right in, no lube, just
raw dog it. But yeah, so then we've, you know, gone through, we've talked about the little
we got up to her in the hospital.
before we're to the hospital now.
Jimmy was smitten.
I really like that main nurse, that head nurse. She didn't put up with no shit.
No.
I liked her, Salis or whatever her name was.
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Yeah,
like,
Nurse Alves.
Maybe I am dyslexic.
No, it might be Alvarez, but I think it was. I have Alves written down.
But I've said like Salve.
I
think
that's
I just
her new
mixed
name.
up all the
It's
words.
okay. We know what you mean.
Again, and like with the first movie, how they had cameos of like The Thing and stuff in the back. This one had Night of the Living Dead and paid some tribute to Romero in there, which was cool too. And so I was like, he's again, well, and this wasn't Carpenter, but still, it's like
paying homage to that.
To some other like major horror classics. So that was cool. But yeah, I was like, oh yay, love the Night of the Living Dead cameo. But also, okay, wait, I can't get over the fact how he's just like kind of casually going door to door and killing people.
Literally.
Well, everyone's like searching for him, and I'm like, shouldn't he be like trying to get away like a little bit faster? Like
Michael gives no fucks.
He's just casually like, I'm gonna go to this store now. Tink tink, kills them, moves on to the next house.
Kill.
Tink tink.
Tink tink, exactly.
Kills them.
I wish he would make that noise when he would kill them. Tink tink.
Tink tink.
Tink tink.
I mean, if I was gonna be killed, I'd want to at least hear tink tink as the last song.
You're getting murdered, and you're like tink 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 tink. Do it for them. And they're like, and you're like, no, it's okay, keep going. Tink tink.
Tink tink.
Tink away.
Tink away. Yeah. Oh well.
Cute. Love it. Murder. Yeah. So at the hospital, I think, and she's just like, fuck, you know, they knock her out. So
yeah, and she didn't want to go to sleep because she was like, this bitch gonna come for me.
She knew.
She knew.
She needed her wits about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they put her out, and
the doctor. Also the doctor. Was he not drunk?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah.
Considering that was what the nurse had just said.
Right. Yeah.
To the what are they called? The ambulance people.
Paramedics.
Paramedics.
First responders.
First responders, yeah.
Shout out to all our first responders out there if you're listening.
Scary stuff you have to deal with. That's true horror.
Literally.
But yeah, so I'm pretty sure he is drunk. And then he's like injecting her shit.
Well, Dr. Mixter. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And then, but okay, so she wakes up in the room and stuff, and Jimmy's being fucking creepy. Like, I mean, he was cute and stuff, but I'm like, dude, like, don't fucking touch a passed out person. Like, I was like, is this scene about to get
very triggering? Weird.
Yeah, I was like, I am not a fan of this. And then she wakes up and just smiles at him, and I'm like, bitch, what happened to Ben Tramer? You don't even know he's dead yet, and you're already moved on?
Literally.
God, you were smitten with him. And then now you're all over Jimmy.
That's the teenager right there.
That's true. I'd do the same thing. But like, also not to someone randomly touching me when I'm like, I'd be like, oh, get the fuck away, dude. Who are you?
I don't think we talked about it, or no, it's just kind of dawning on me right now. Like, they have to be like, what, like 16, 17? Like,
she is. He's in college.
He's in college. Yeah. But I mean, like, but I mean, like, her and her friends. Do you think that they were seniors in high school? Like, what?
I think so.
Probably
Juniors or seniors.
Yeah.
And so Tramer was 17.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume they're all about the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think she's about 17.
Because then I'm like, I had to think about, like, man, putting myself in this position. Like,
she is 17 because in the end, when the very weirdly, she is Michael's sister.
Yeah.
It says she was born like 2 years prior or whatever. So she was like 2 years old or something. And then plus 15
That
years
out,
he was locked up. So I think
Ooh,
she's
math.
17.
Not you doing math, Caitlin.
I know.
Ooh.
Good. Thank God it's only basic addition. Can't do anything
even
else.
that sometimes I'm like, where's my cat? Hey Siri, how much is 7
like,
plus
yes.
2?
Oh, she listening.
Always
Back
listening.
up, Siri.
There you go. Girl, calm down. Tink tink.
Ting ting dead. But yeah, I think she's about 17.
Okay. Yeah. So hospital, Jimmy, they're
being creepy. They're going picking up the other people, and then this is where Michael's made his way over here by now, and he's starting to chip him off.
Well, and it's also to the way that she didn't even know who, she didn't even know what was happening. Like, who was that? And he's like, it was Michael Myers. She's like, the little boy from the Myers house.
Yeah, and I'm like, you didn't pick any of that together.
Ain't so little anymore.
Yeah, no. He's 21.
Yeah.
I remember they said that, and I was like, old enough to drink. Good job, bud. But
it's the way that as the shape,
people.
he does not he has no age. Like,
no, yeah, he looks like he's old as fuck.
Yeah, like grown ass man.
And then like even in the few times when the mask comes off and you briefly see his face, you're like, 21.
Don't add up, but okay. I guess that's what years of hate and trauma and an asylum evil does to you.
Yeah, I guess so. Really packs on gives you some wrinkles.
He is the embodiment of evil, yes.
He didn't get no cute skin from it. But yeah, so now we're there and everyone's slowly people are starting to disappear. And I'm like, okay, also, I know that this is like a little bit of a small town, but how are there only like 6 people in this hospital?
That's what I was about to say. Yes, literally one security guard, like just a few nurses. That's it. And it feels like everything's so like when you look at it too, it's like, is this an abandoned hospital? Because like lights are low, like ain't nobody here.
I'm like, I've never been in a hospital that's got like lights.
Mood
out.
lighting.
Like it's always like fucking sterile bright
and bright. Yeah. Why? Yeah. Not this hospital.
No,
not Haddonfield.
And I don't know, maybe I've never stayed in a hospital overnight. Maybe they do dim the lights like they do in airplanes when you have an early or late flight. The cabin, they dim that.
No,
cabin lighting.
I've stayed the night in hospital. It's still bright.
Yeah.
I mean, your room might be a little dim, but like everything else, always.
Still bright.
Yeah, it's still
and
bright.
well staffed.
Yeah, and well staffed, literally.
Not just the 6 people. Yeah, with one security guard not even paying attention to the camera. Literally, Michael just waltzes right in. He's like.
Literally. And that security guard, that security guard had no, he
wasn't paying attention.
He had no care for that at all.
And then he went out there and I loved, so he goes to investigate. He's the first hospital kill. He goes to investigate because homegirl.
The telephone line went out.
Yeah. Alvarez, right?
Yes.
The phones were down because they're trying to get a hold of Lori's parents. And so she's calling, and then, that was the other thing. Lori then reaches for the phone with her left arm, the one that has been stabbed. And I'm like, okay, I know they gave you some like drugs and stuff, but like she was like stabbed in the shoulder. I was like, girl, your rotator cuff ain't like moving like that. But whatever, it doesn't have to be realistic. I was just like, I immediately was like, how are you fucking moving your arm right now? Like, no. And
overanalyzing.
But yeah, so she calls, or she's trying to call, phone lines are down, so he's going out to go see if they've been cut. But he goes to the storage shed, which I thought he was going to have to go to like some pole.
Right.
But he's inside there, so I don't really know what happened there.
Because it's a fake hospital.
It's true. Half abandoned. And he's in the storage shed, and tools were missing maybe from the wall is what that was. And he's going to investigate. He heard a little sound. Same thing when Michael was in the first house, or the second house, the first like little younger girl that he killed.
Yeah.
There was that something got knocked over.
Yeah.
I was picturing like Michael Myers like trying to like stalk through, and then
Stealthy.
he's like, fuck. It's like,
literally.
shit, I just knocked something over. And the people start going, hello?
When you're trying to
And he's
make
like,
food
"Oh,
at
I'm
like 2
trying
in
to
the
be
morning
quiet."
and not wake up people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is louder.
Yeah. That was a funny little side scene that played in my head once I heard that. And I was just imagining him being like, oh, God, I'm trying to be quiet.
Literally. I can see that. That should be a skit for like Halloween SNL episode.
Him not being stealthy enough.
Yeah. And just
He
fucking
is very stealthy, though. But he did knock things over twice. I mean, I guess maybe he was trying to get Homeboy's attention in the hospital.
Because then he stabs him, right?
So no, it's a hammer to the head.
There we go. Yeah.
He opens the first door and all these boxes tumble out. So I appreciated that, like, because you're like expecting something to happen because the lock has been unlocked and you're like, oh, it's gonna happen, and then he just gets boom, boxes, and that was funny. Oh, and also the cat, like, little jump scene out of the garbage.
All those
dumpster.
little Foss moments where you think like, oh, it's time. Nope. Little tink tink.
Almost
Nope.
had you. And then
I got your $1. I got your $1.
Ooh, gotta be faster than that. Gotta be quicker than that. But yeah, he comes and then he opens the next door, and again, nothing really happens. But then he closes the door, and it's got that good angle, right, where you're like, ooh, something behind that door. And he closes it, and bam, there's Michael, and pwop, hammer
Whacks
right
him.
to the head. I was like,
Yep.
ooh, fuck. And then he hangs him up too.
Yep.
I was really impressed by the amount of time and effort that Michael put into these murders.
Honestly.
So he cut phone lines. Later on we find out that he has cut gas lines and like oil lines and cars.
Everything's premeditated.
Tires.
Everything is already like he's done it.
He strings him up later so that Lori gets scared when she runs in there.
Literally.
The way that Nurse Alvarez is then like bled out with the IV and stuff.
All over
and
on
like,
the table, and then Jimmy goes in and that
slips in the blood
and then
stuff.
Bam.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, Michael's putting in the effort.
He is.
He's really
puts in the work.
He's really making sure these kills are taken care of.
Seriously.
Yeah. I was like, damn, this is premeditated as fuck.
It's like,
but also
premeditated, nonsensical. Yeah, like it's just very much that. Because because when you're watching it, it makes it so look like he's just doing it. Like I'm here for the kill.
Yeah,
that's it. Whatever.
But then he's really doing extra stuff. So yeah, every time I was like, damn, okay, when's he getting time to do this? But then I'm like, well, maybe that's why he's so slow. He's tired from stringing people up and all the kills. I'd be tired after that too. So
it's all the things that we don't see on the camera.
Yeah,
that really make the movie just top tier.
While we're watching Lori and Jimmy be weird with their canoodling, then he's stringing people up.
Yeah, literally.
That's the behind the scenes action that's happening there. So we had just lost Mr. Garrett with a hammer to the head.
Yes.
The next one, I believe, is our 2 in the hot tub, right?
We're going to that scene.
Yeah. So
it's no patience.
He's a dick.
Oh yeah.
That guy.
What's his Bob? Bud. Yeah.
Bud with 2 D's, according to my subtitles.
There you go.
Always watch because I need subtitles on or I can't hear. But yeah, so he first like scares her by like laying in the bed and stuff, and I'm like, dude, like that's fucking. Why are you a creep? Oh.
They're all creeps.
But I loved the Amazing Grace on my face.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, you're trash, but that was good.
That's good.
And then Jimmy's like, come on. Like, can't you take this seriously? What if that was Ziggy, his younger brother? And like, I knew what Ziggy wants. Ew.
We're not going there.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Ziggies.
But I was just like,
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
Jimmy gained some points there when he was like calling Bud out on his shit. But yeah, Bud's really an asshole.
He's a douchebag.
He's kind of flirting with all the ladies.
Literally.
But I guess really had something with this gal.
Nurse Karen.
Her
name is Karen.
But yeah, so he was creepy, and then he was like pretty much like, first off, she's already like, Alvarez is already mad. Wait, is that her name?
Alves.
Alves. Sorry.
Alves. Look, she's Nurse Alvarez now. You guys.
The head honcho
Retcon.
motherfucker, badass bitch nurse Alvarez, Salvez, whatever I said first.
We'll figure it out.
She was already late from being like at a Halloween party, and so she was already in trouble. And then now she's considering fucking this dude while she's supposed to be watching these babies.
Literally.
She's like, we can leave the door open here if they cry, and I'm like,
that's gross. That's a little weird. Maybe she likes it.
Yeah.
She's into it.
Maybe makes her feel like she has family. I don't know.
But yeah, they're in the so what is it's a hot tub?
Yeah, it's
essentially.
hydrotherapy.
There it is. Okay. Oh, that was really big back then.
It
That's
was
right.
like Nurse Ratched. Remember?
Yeah.
They had that down there.
Ooh.
That room was so cool.
Honestly.
I was like, damn, I'd have a bathroom that looks like this.
With the whole tub, with the whole lid and door.
Not the Halloween 2 one, but the one in Nurse Ratched.
Yeah,
I was like, well, really the whole scenery in that
all of
was
that.
just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but yeah, so they go down for the hydrotherapy, and
for the hydrodicopy.
Yeah, he's already naked in there. Then you get some nice. I loved the little silhouette shot. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Getting a little artsy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then she gets in the tub, and she's like, it's pretty fucking hot. Oh, and that's where we get her titties.
Yeah. Well, that's because titties. Yeah, titty shot, BooBaes. Got 5 boos from us.
5 boobies.
Literally. They knew what they were doing. But yeah, it gets hot because Michael turns it up. No.
Yes,
he
but
fucks with it,
it was already pretty hot, like 100-degree water. Like,
yeah,
that's gotta be warm. And it said do not exceed 100 degrees. And then he goes and he does go and turn it up while they're making out. And she's like, it's really fucking hot. And then he was like, no, it's fine. Yeah. And then she was like, it's about to get real cold. Like, go fucking check.
Yeah.
I'm about to not be hot for you anymore.
Literally.
And he's like, got it.
I love it.
He goes and checks, and then we get to see him get killed. And I was kind of like, good job.
And it's the way that she doesn't even realize. No. She doesn't even know. She's just there. Ooh, titties out, hot water.
Titties out, hot water. And then Michael comes through to her. And so he strangles him.
Yeah.
So we've gotten a hammer.
A strangle.
A knife stabbing.
Yeah. Sorry, forgot that one.
And now a strangle. Good strangulation.
So many different methods. Like, I really
He's keeping his option open. He's down to kill anyway. DTK, down to kill.
I was about to say same, but no.
No. But then he comes in and he's all quiet, like, and she doesn't turn around. And I'm like, first off, maybe I'm just too paranoid. Like, if anyone opens a door, even if I know who it is, my head's turning.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not just gonna let you walk up behind me. Are you kidding me?
She's so vulnerable, like butt ass naked, and you're just like nonchalant.
Yeah,
like,
she just tied up her little boobies.
Yeah, and it's because she knows there's only like 3 other people working in this hospital. True. So it's like, who else could it be? Jimmy. She'd probably be fine with that too. Nurse Alves, a little kinky.
I'd be down for it.
For real.
To see that.
She's Nurse Karen in my mind.
She was curvy. I liked it. Alvarez
goes both ways. She's
But so Michael comes up behind her and is
puts his Michael hands on her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, aren't those hands rough?
Yeah, I was like, they got to be rough. They look like they're probably a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And then, man, and she's just like, first off, they also looked like swollen little dead sausages. I don't know. And then she's like biting on it. That I was like, that's so nasty. Yeah. I was like, ooh, girl, you're gonna freak out when you figure out what fingies you just put in your mouth. And then she finally looks and is like, oh,
fuck. And then he just starts dunking her.
Yep. She had said she didn't want to go bobbing for apples no more. And now she died that way. So, and
great foreshadowing.
As he had already turned up the water to scalding. And so she starts losing her face.
Peeling right off.
As each time she comes up, she's getting these like fucking 3rd-degree burns.
Lesions, yeah.
And her face is just like, and it was done well. It was subtle. Like that scene was good. That was a
great
good
practical
kill.
Effects, great makeup, all that.
It was nasty. That shit was brutal. And then she falls down and her talus slipped, so we get to see her titties one last time. And then she's dead.
Dead.
And Michael leaves her.
Deader than dead. Yeah, but that whole scene is very like, that's a, like if we were to do like an iconic kills, like kind of top 10 kills, I feel like that would be at least like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
At the end of it, not number 1, of course, but it was pretty good.
It was. I liked that one. I was
double
like,
kill
okay.
too. Got them both.
He did.
Within a matter of like
stone.
minutes.
Yeah. Still, I mean, I guess there was a pretty loud like sound with how the bubbles were going. So I'm like, I guess I can understand how she maybe didn't hear him, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like,
that probably is what it was.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's so like, I don't know. She was not, just
I mean,
she wasn't
it's
thinking
hard
about
for
it.
you to scream when you're getting strangled. So
Mm-hmm.
probably was pretty quiet.
Do you know about that? Oh, okay. Back to topic. It's not that kind of podcast. Or it could be.
It could be. So then after that, who do we go back to next? Are we back to Lori now?
We're back to Lori.
And she's in there.
She finally woke up. She's back up and she's getting off of the bed, right?
Yeah. I think so. She is smart.
Mm-hmm.
She stuffs her pillow.
Yes.
Or her bed with
the
pillows.
Yes.
And Michael's like, stab.
Stab.
Oh,
Tinky tink.
well, but then that other nurse is trying to find people.
You're right.
And she then goes and finds the doctor.
And he is stabbed in the eye with a scalpel? Syringe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He injected something because then his eye looked like it was kind of like
Yeah.
starting to like dissolve or something. I don't know. It looked pretty nasty. And I was like,
mixture. He was just trying to enjoy his cocktail.
Sitting there looking at his fish tank, I think is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a fish tank. I don't know. And she's like, Dr. Mixter. And then she turns around. She's like, ugh. And then Michael's behind her. And
bam, syringe.
then you get a nice close-up shot of that going in right in her temple.
Mm-hmm. He just put air all up in her blood.
That was pretty gross. I also don't like to watch needles go into the skin.
Really?
So like the scene where they were showing like putting the IVs into Lori's arm, I was like,
I'm like the exact opposite.
Blood.
Nurse dying of an embolism.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go back to now. Lori is escaping.
Help!
Jimmy and Blonde Gal are looking for anyone. And they're like, where the fuck is... And Jimmy's like, I can't find anyone. And she's like, me neither. Blah, blah, blah. And she's looking for Lori.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in. Michael has already found Lori's bed, has stabbed it with his little scalpel.
Mm-hmm. I bet he was pissed off.
He was like, what the hell? He's like, this don't feel like no body. He stabs it twice. And then he's like, let me... And he's like, oh. And then so... That's when the nurse comes back and is like, where the hell's Lori?
Yeah.
And starts looking for her. Jimmy's running around. Jimmy finds Alves
on the table, on the operating table.
R.I.P. I was hoping she'd live.
Girl boss. She was just girl bossing that day.
She was. And then, man, she got bled out.
That was, and honestly, too, no body has that much blood.
Yeah.
Like, unrealistically amount of blood.
The, like, whole floor was covered in blood.
And it wasn't even just, like, a little, just, like, it was, like, thick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looked... yeah.
And then Jimmy walks in, does a little pirouette, and just
slips on it, and
bam.
is immediately knocked out. And I'm like, boy, you never like slipped before? Like,
literally, he had to hit his head. That's a concussion. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, you could have got up, whatever. But
at that point too, you're covered in blood. I'm just like, I'm just gonna lay here.
This makes some blood angels.
Already happens. Yeah.
But
I give up.
So Jimmy's out of commission now for the time being.
Because he will come back.
Mm-hmm. And then we're looking for, blonde lady's still looking for Lori. She's like, where the hell is she? Blah, blah, blah. Running around, doing all of her stuff. And we get to one of my favorite kills.
Yes.
In it. Because it's
Nurse
very
Jill.
similar to the kill in the first movie where
with the guy lifts him up.
Yeah. And so you get to see his like brute strength just come through.
Yeah.
As if him being shot 6 times wasn't enough of a thing.
Also, too, I'm like, where are those bullets at? Homeboy's just walking around with these bullets just in him.
So, yeah.
Like, because those weren't 3 and 3s.
Maybe his body just metabolizes it. And
the
then
evil.
Turns it into, he's like a Wolverine mixture.
It just makes him stronger.
Yeah. It's just, that's
literally.
his food. Is
Can you
bullets.
imagine Halloween 7? It's just like he just starts.
He's the Terminator. Yeah.
Shoots out bullets.
Shooting out of his mouth.
Literally.
He's kept them all. He's stored them.
He's
and
just
now
like,
he's a machine gun.
Literally. Where'd that come from? His fucking hand. God.
I'd watch it.
I would too.
Just for the kitschiness.
Let's do our own. Let's record our own Halloween movie.
I'm sure they would love.
Direct it.
Who wouldn't
a little
love
short.
that?
A good 15-minute.
A
good 15-minute.
And we'll have him knock over some things, and then he comes out and he's a robot.
So back to our favorite kill, Nurse Jill. She's just, trying to do her damn job.
She finally found Lori.
Yeah, did find her. Literally.
Yeah. And then
but
Lori gets to witness that.
Boom. Gets a scalpel. And it's a scalpel. He's lifting her with a scalpel.
Yeah.
You know how little scalpels are?
Yeah. And I was
How?
surprised at how easily she died.
Oh yeah.
She kind of just gave up.
Yeah,
and then,
my favorite is she's, getting lifted and they put the scene to her little feet and it's
the
just like
shoes
the
go
shaking. Bloop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, she did. And Lori's just like
Literally
watching and in
crawling.
horror. Yeah. And so now everyone is taken care of essentially except for Lori.
I think so, right? Everybody at that
Yeah.
point, all the nurses.
I mean, Jimmy's
Jimmy's
knocked
out of commission.
but everyone
Honestly,
else
for
in
the
that
best.
hospital is dead now.
Good on Jimmy.
Yeah.
He obviously was thinking, I'm just gonna play dead.
Yeah, smart.
Some murderer in here.
But so now we're getting to the big kahuna.
Lori versus Michael. Ding 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 ding.
And it feels almost like a haunted house
Uh-huh.
to me. Like, so then she's running. We get to the storage room. She's running through there.
Yep.
Homeboy's strung up.
Finding all the bodies.
Yeah.
And I love that too, how he did that for the first one and the second one.
Mhm.
She came
She
into
found
later,
all the
bodies.
He's really making sure that it's theatrical.
Mm-hmm.
This is Hollywood.
Yeah. And then someone's like, this is all your fault, Lori.
Yeah.
Look at these people died because of you.
Yeah, if you would just let me killed you, we would have been Gucci, but no. So she's running. She climbs through that little window. He's swiping at her feet and stuff. And at this point, she eventually gets out of
Yeah.
the hospital and is like hiding in a car. And then Jimmy shows up.
Here's Jimmy again. And it's the fact that he doesn't even know that she's in there.
Yeah.
She's
He's just like, "No." And then she's like, Jimmy.
And then he passes out. And so
And blares the horn, lets Michael know exactly where they are.
Literally. It's so frustrating in that moment because you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Come on. And then, poor Lori, she gets out of the car, starts crawling. She can't say anything, sees Dr. Loomis. He's about to go into the hospital.
It's frustrating that her voice miraculously works the moment those hospital doors close.
Literally.
And it was like, God damn, Lord, you couldn't have screamed like a hair faster? Come on. Like, your life depends on this.
And then it's just like the crawling. I'm like, girl, are you are the sedatives that strong? What's happening
you
here?
were running
You
earlier.
did not get stabbed in the leg.
You just got to take a little break in a car.
Literally.
Like, you should be able to get up. But, yeah,
The trauma.
She's running, going after them. And then we get Michael coming in again.
Through the glass. Mm-hmm.
Which, man, he just really...
He just, literally.
that
he
scene was
loves
funny
through doors.
to me because, like, when he literally bursts through it, but it's just like he just like
walks.
It's
yeah.
like his like fucking pecs or whatever just touch it and then it goes boom.
Boom, combusted.
Yeah.
Literally.
So
There
I
was
was
no.
like,
He wasn't running through it. He wasn't.
No.
There was no. In reality, like that should not have happened.
I was like, does he got like super brain powers or
It should
something
have been-
where he can make glass
It
explode?
should have been one of those moments where like he hits the glass and it's one of those like you back up and it's funny and it's like, oh, my bad. Mm-hmm.
That would have been comedic.
Literally, yeah. And walks over to the other one, does the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And so he gets through his miraculously busted glass, gets shot again, like
6 times,
yeah,
5 or 6,
it
same
was
as
a good
earlier.
amount of rounds, and clearly Loomis's little tiny gun has been
Ain't doing
depleted
shit.
of all of its bullets in the rounds or whatever that thing is
Out
called.
of commission. Well, then we get Michael on the floor.
Yeah, and
Think he's dead. For a quick
Homeboy's like,
second.
get away from him, and then he's like, no, he's not breathing. And then, well,
Little did he know, U.S. Marshal.
that guy was pretty sassy.
Yeah.
He was like, what do you have to lose? And he was like, nothing except my job. Like,
Literally.
he was.
Well, my favorite too is that like whenever Michael like pops back up and like slits his throat, it's the face he's making because it's so comedic to me.
Oh, I don't
It's-
remember it.
Yeah, he just like this like face.
Extra dead face.
Extra dead. Well, yeah. So we got that guy out. Michael's just on a rampage.
He had his throat slit by the scalpel.
Mm-hmm.
We've had one person be impaled on the scalpel. This guy's throat slit.
We've got syringes. We've got strangulation. We've got strangulation and drowning, I guess. In a way. Man, he really outdid himself with this one.
Yeah.
Good on you, Mike. Good on you.
He did all the things. But this girl, so when she goes out, the girl who was like called Loomis back to the governor or whatever.
Yeah.
And now we've since found out that somehow
Oh yeah, we didn't
Lori
even
is-
cover that earlier.
Yeah.
Well, and two, she's
Michael's
like
sister.
when she's in the bed, she's having maybe something got knocked into her, but she's having these flashbacks of her childhood, her mom being like, "I'm not your real mother."
Yeah.
And And then that lady, which I don't remember her name.
I don't know.
But yeah, in the car ride, she's like, that girl, that's Michael's sister.
Yeah.
We found the file.
Which
Like,
I was
where
like,
was this fucking file?
no, yeah, they had it sealed and
Yeah.
it was confidential. But it's like, what? That doesn't make really any sense. And like it said she was born like 2 years. I think they meant prior, but I feel like they said after the parents' deaths. So like, did Michael also kill them?
I have no.
Because it said they were
no.
killed.
Yeah, so I don't probably.
I'm like, did
That's Halloween
right
one
after,
and a half.
Yeah, right after, he comes down with the little bloody knife and his little clown
And they're
suit,
like,
maybe,
Michael.
and they're just waiting there. Yeah, maybe he's like, what?
Michael, did you kill your sister?
It
Not again.
stabs them. So maybe they ship Lori
this is
off.
the 5th sister you've killed. You can't keep buying him. Literally.
We're running out.
We're running out of sisters. But yeah, so that happens. She's the sister.
But so that woman goes out to the car to use the police radio. First off, and then also that guy, before he gets murdered, he was like, I'm the only one authorized to use that. Like, bitch, do you think this is an
emergency
this man
situation?
just tried to like kill y'all.
Literally.
And you're worried about protocol? Fuck you. But so she gets out there, and I loved this scene. I thought it was well done because she was like trying to contact the police, and she was like, blah, 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 we're here, Dr. Loomis. And they're like, 10-4 on the suspect or whatever. And then she's like, it's Michael Myers. Get your asses down here. And I was like, yeah, bitch, tell him.
Girl, boss it.
Yeah, I liked her. I was
on the
like,
show.
and that scene, like the way that it panned, like the lighting, everything, I was just like, that's a good scene. And then it pans back into the hospital, and now we've got Lori and Loomis and Michael
versus Michael
in a room. And then Michael again just kind of splinters a door, punching through it.
As he should.
It sounded real solid at first, but then when he comes through it, it looks like the trailer house doors, and he's just breaking through it. But whatever.
Yep. Got him in there. We got...
Lori shoots him in the face.
It's the blood coming through the mask, like the eyes
Yeah,
for me.
it's it was so dramatic with the tears of blood. He was sad, and he just wanted to kill his sister.
He
like,
just really wanted to murder her. And they're depriving him of the right
I do
to his
think
joy.
that scene went on a little too long with him like blindly, aimlessly swinging. Oh, Jesus. Just
I gotta stop talking with my hands.
the air and going around, and then
It's so comedic too. It's just like
it just happens like probably a minute too long. I'm like, okay, like a few scenes of that would have been okay, but then it just keeps going, and then while Loomis and Lori are releasing the gas,
and this is like really too like the gas. The room was just a room full of oxygen. Is it oxygen?
There was oxygen. There was also another one that I don't remember. It started with an E or something. But yeah, so they're releasing the gas, and then finally Loomis is like, get out of here. So Lori runs off, and then we have our second big explosion. Boom. Because Loomis says, this is it. And then lights his little lighter, and he sacrifices himself to end Michael.
Yeah.
Or so we think.
Was retconned later.
But so then Michael's burning. They come and get Lori. They're putting her in the thing. I don't know what happened to Jimmy. I guess he's still passed out in the car.
Literally,
no one really cares.
The horn is still blaring to this day.
His head did fall back, and it looked kind of gross the way that it fell back. I was like, ew, that's nasty. But so she's getting into the ambulance and driving off, and then it starts playing Mr. Sandman again.
Perfect.
Right?
Way. Sandwich, yeah.
Yeah.
So, beginning and ending.
A little bookends.
Full circle.
And it was good.
Oh, it was a good wild ride.
Very much more upbeat than the first. I've got a lot of little fun facts about.
Lay them on me.
So, the mask that Michael wears is again the same mask, but it looks different in the sequel because the paint had faded due to a few reasons. Nick Castle would the original Michael, or the shape, would keep it in his back pocket during shoots. So the paint was like starting to fade off.
Yeah.
And then Deborah Hill kept the mask under her bed for several years until the filming of Halloween 2, causing it to collect dust and yellow because she was a heavy smoker.
Oh.
And then it says also the mask appears wider because Dick Warlock is shorter and stockier than Nick Castle, so the mask fits his head differently. And they let after that, they thought it would be the final sequel in the series because,
Yeah.
well, they intended Halloween to be
And-
the final.
Yeah.
And then they were like, nah, after it did so fucking well, they were like, we
Let's
gonna make a
more
second.
money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they thought this one was going to be the final. And so,
Which kind of was, because then Halloween 3 comes out and it doesn't have anything to do with.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then they carry it on later.
Mm-hmm.
But so they thought it would be the final again, and they let him keep the mask, scalpel, boots, jumpsuit, knife used in filming. And then when they decided to revive Michael in Halloween 4, the producers realized they'd made a mistake and never again gave props out to the cast.
There you go.
They were like, yeah, because therefore the sequels used different masks that
They
looked rather
do.
different.
Yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was
For
fun.
the sake of continuity, we will no longer let you take the mask home.
Yeah,
The fact that it was under Deborah's bed and she was just chain smoking.
and letting dust get on it.
Can you imagine? She's just there like,
I bet you that mask smelled terrible for
ew.
for Halloween
Yeah, I'm
too,
sure.
that
Any
filming.
mask, you know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one, I mean, 'cause people are just like
Yeah.
mouth breathing in it.
And then you've got nasty
Sweat.
stale cigarette smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Of
That's
course,
bad.
Jamie Lee Curtis was wearing a wig
Yeah.
in this one because by the 1980s she had already started,
chopping off her hair.
yeah,
It's short.
wearing her
Her
iconic
hair
hair.
that she has to
Yeah.
this day.
And so she was wearing a wig there. I do like the elevator scene. That scene when she gets in the elevator, we didn't mention that.
Mm-hmm.
But as she gets in, but I think at that part you can really tell that it's a wig.
I could tell whenever she was laying in the bed and they were knocking her out,
Yeah.
and she was trying to fight it, but you could tell.
You could tell lots of places. It was originally written to take place in a high-rise apartment building, but then later in the script meetings, it was changed to the Haddonfield Hospital, which I think is,
Yeah,
that was a good choice.
Makes more sense.
I think that was a really good move on their part. I don't think it would have been nearly as interesting as if it wasn't in the hospital.
Yeah, and it doesn't make sense. Why would it be in a skyrise?
Yeah.
Why would it?
Where's the skyrise around
How
there?
does that take place? Why
Who
would
knows?
Lori be there?
Exactly. And then so John Carpenter originally turned down the offer to direct, but then he remained involved while writing the production and screenplay. Oh, this was the other fun fact that I saw. So Nurse Karen is the one who got drowned.
Yes.
Pamela Susan Shoop, it says, got an ear infection during the filming of her death scene, as the water in the hot tub was apparently none too clean.
Ew.
Yeah, so she got a real bad ear infection from that. And
Why
I'm like,
the fuck were they putting her in unclean water?
disgusting.
And her face was all up in it.
Yeah.
You know, some of that got in her mouth.
Ugh.
She
Yeah,
swallowed
I'm
a little bit of
She
it.
probably got she got tapeworm.
Yeah.
And then Carpenter comes back, and after watching the original bit of it, he was like, "This is way too tame."
Yeah.
He was like, "Rosenthal, listen up." And so he shot a few more gory scenes that were added to the film, despite Rosenthal's objections. Carpenter's like, "This is my baby. You can back the fuck up. Like, I know you're directing it now, but no."
We need more blood.
Exactly.
Let there be blood.
Oh yeah, and the other one was Annie's voice
Yeah.
showing through.
Yeah. And then one other little thing that I had learned is that the explosion scene with the fire, Dick Warlock actually got some pretty bad burns.
Oh,
from
really?
that. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, from the shape, I can't think, the clothing, whatever, it had metal zippers on it, and so they
Oh.
burned him. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I bet you they didn't think that far ahead.
Mm-mm.
Speaking of Dick Warlock, he's also the shortest Michael Myers in the entire series. And so, in fact, he had to wear lifters
Oh.
to appear taller.
I mean, I
Because,
guess
I mean, he was giant in the first one. Like, in Halloween 1, he was big. Like, he was
It's a
like
big guy.
door frame huge,
Yeah.
which door frames are typically 8 foot tall standard. And so,
Just imagining someone Michael Myers walks through that glass right now.
I mean, his head would hit the little arch. But yeah,
He'd
so
make it
those
work.
were just some more fun facts about it.
it.
A lot of the houses and buildings and stuff there are actual standing they're in LA. The hospital that it was filmed in has since been torn down. So you can't go see that. Bummer. But they're in Orange County, I believe. And so they're somewhere around there. And you
Cool.
can go see those houses still. So that's neat. But I think it's time to
give a rating.
to something
Awesome.
other than boobies in the
Let's
film.
see. Going over it, looking back, and it's actually like out of the Halloween movies, I think Halloween 2 is like my favorite out of all of them. And there's a good deal amount. I would give it a solid 3.5. I would give it a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what we gave Halloween because that episode hasn't come out yet. So
It hasn't. We'll listen to it. We'll remember. Do you have it in your notes?
that hasn't come
No.
out yet, so I haven't been able to find it.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm going to start taking notes of
Each time after we
Yeah.
we record. You hear that, guys? We're taking notes. We're learning as
we're
we're
starting
going.
to remember so we have a reference sheet now, but I don't remember that one yet. So
Oh man,
eventually we'll catch up.
No, I want to give it. I'm gonna give it a 4.
4.
I'm gonna
Okay.
give it a 4.
I was like, man, for it to be your favorite
Yeah,
and to
I
give it a 3.5, I was like, I was a little shocked.
Well, and also too, I just like I feel like in other ratings, I'm like I'm being too generous. I guess I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, really should. I mean, in here, let me look at my criteria. The kills were great.
Yes.
The pacing was great.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography, like working of the camera.
There was, I think the cinematography was probably one of my favorite parts of the
really
film.
enjoyed it.
Really good, like long shots.
The acting was pretty. I mean, it was. I mean, not everybody had like. I think it worked because there wasn't moments where it's like people had to be super like focused on them. Everybody had like really short lines or like really like it wasn't too much. Like so, I like it. So yeah, I'll give it a 4. I'll give it 4 boos.
4 boos. 4 boos from you. I don't remember. I'm trying to decide if I like it more or the same or less. All
Comparatively
of the
to Halloween.
options. Yeah.
Mhm.
I did like the amount. I did like the kills in this one a lot more. They were more exciting. And again, gotta give him some props for how intricate he was.
Yeah.
But
Mr.
I think Halloween, like in just I can't tell if I want to like it also because I know that was your favorite one.
No, please do not let my opinion.
Well, I did like it. I mean, I do like it. That's not a question. I'm trying just whether or not I like it more than
Caitlin,
the
give it a
first one.
2. Just give it a 2, Caitlin.
I gave The Devil Made Me Do It a 2.5. So that one should be
At least above that.
And I said maybe 2.5. That one should have been 1 now that I think about it. I just really hated that movie. I don't know why. I will say I was kind of like, and I don't know if it's because I found it late this morning and was like, I gotta be done soon so I can go record. But I was kind of like, okay, is this gonna end? A little bit. So I maybe would give this one a 3.5.
Okay, I respect that.
And Halloween, I don't know. I think Halloween just also has a large bit of nostalgia for me.
Oh, of course.
And then I think it's Halloween 4 also has a good amount because I remember watching that with one of my best friends in her house and we were alone and she like lives in kind of like a spooky. Not
ooky.
like it was just like no one's really around. It was
Oh,
like
middle of
country.
nowhere. Yeah. The
And
boonies.
with big windows in her house and it was like a log cabin-ish kind of house. And so
Very
I think
Cabin in the Woods, very Evil Dead.
I've got some nostalgia attached to that one as well. I don't remember what in the world I was doing the first time I saw this one. So, but Halloween, I mean, it's so good.
Yeah.
So
how could you not
and
like
this was
a horror movie
great
called Halloween
exactly
where murders happen on Halloween night? Like,
yeah.
Come on.
It's literally the best idea to ever happen.
Honestly.
I guess that's why they keep coming out with them. But yeah, so I think 3.5. I did enjoy it.
You heard it here, folks. She enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
It was good.
It was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy that we're covering it in spooky time. So I love it.
It's a classic.
3.5. So that gives it a solid.
If we do math,
I know.
I'm into averaging and means, and I think those are words for math.
They are.
So
I looked it up.
And medians, right? That's another part of it. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Literally, that's all I got.
Yeah. And then we've got a Prindle stick, which is from Zach.
Pythagorean theorem.
But so Yeah, I think average together it gives it a 3.75.
Yeah.
That's how math works.
There you go.
So
We give this a 3.75. We give, I will give, and we give the BooBaes from Nurse Karen a solid 5.
yeah, because they were good.
And I'm just gonna go out there and give Mr. Michael a good little shout out too. He gets a solid.
He
good.
was on his game. He was a
was.
10 out of 10 good serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing a great job, and he had a purpose.
Literally.
He didn't succeed yet again. So really, how good at his job is he? But
Right. Lori's still walking out there.
I mean, we're about to find out yet again.
Mhm.
She's about to encounter him years down the line.
Literally, it's so funny too because I just saw a meme. It's like when what? Oh, I'll have to show it to you. But it's like Michael Myers loose, and then it's like Jamie Lee Curtis. Not again. Like it's like
God damn it!
Yeah.
Can't y'all lock him up better?
literally.
That's funny. I love it.
Well, this is a good one. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for listening, you guys.
Yeah.
We're in the lovely Rogue Media Studio Network.
That is right. We are
Always
here. They
taking
take care of us.
Yes.
Very nice of them.
Love them.
You can find us on social media platform.
At BooBaes Podcast.
That's on Instagram.
Instagram, all one word.
Yep. All one word.
Not babes, but BooBae.
Yeah. BAES.
There it is.
And then you can find us on all of your
Streaming podcasts.
platforms. You can really find us anywhere. Apple Podcasts being one of the biggest,
Mm-hmm. Spotify.
being the second largest, and then there's also other things like Pandora,
iHeartRadio. Maybe not that one.
Google
Stitcher.
Play,
Google. All of them.
really, anywhere you want to listen, you can find us. And if you are on Apple, you can, or Spotify, you can subscribe to both. But if you're on Apple, you can rate, review, and subscribe.
Very much that.
And that helps us get ahead, get relevant,
It's the only way that we can keep doing
seen.
this.
And also for the month of October, if you haven't noticed already, now we've came up with this fun little plan after we've recorded these other ones.
Yeah.
So if you're just hearing about it now and you're like, Caitlin, you're late. We've been hearing double bi-weekly episodes for 2 weeks now. Like
Yeah.
you're behind schedule, BB.
Yeah, so-
Well, we're recording now since we've made that decision. And so you're welcome. We are releasing on both Tuesdays and Thursdays for the month of October. So that way you've got all your spooky horror film needs are being met.
Mm-hmm.
And you can binge and listen to our voices more. Because I know that that's what
You're
just
here
love
for.
to do.
Mm.
Yeah, you're here for our voices, not our not legitimate opinions.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
But
Aw.
so rate, review, subscribe, listen, tell your friends. We've already gotten
Tell your grandmother. Tell
some
your
really
family.
nice reviews from some of y'all. Like I don't know this person who left us our first review. You don't either.
I don't know her.
And so
I did not pay this woman.
whoever you are,
Thank you. Thank
'cause
you.
That was very
Shout
sweet
out
of you.
to you.
Yeah, it's like cat KKAT. I don't know.
Something like that.
And then they'll
at
be like,
username.
they're gonna text us later and be like,
That
you
was
know me, bitch.
it's my
How
mom.
rude. Yeah.
Baby.
How could you not know that was me?
It's Michael.
Aw, that would be the biggest honor.
Honestly.
that would.
I loved hearing y'all talk about me. Aw.
He would be so happy of how we praised him.
So you guys, until next time.
Yeah. Have a good spooky season and
Yes.
bye, babes.
Bye, babes.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros Bows Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't right, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what,